order. May I have a roll call, please?
Here.
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 Here. If you'd all rise for the Pledge of Allegiance, led by Adam Pfeiffer.
I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Adam, if you wouldn't mind meeting me by the microphone. For your swearing in of your oath.
Outstanding.
And I will keep it here so that we can all read along.
Wonderful.
And I will say, having been appointed.
Okay.
Okay. I, Adam, raise your right hand. I, Adam Pfeiffer,
I, Adam Pfeiffer,
having been appointed to the office of village trustee,
having been appointed to the office of village trustee,
swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States
swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Wisconsin,
and the Constitution of the State of Wisconsin,
and will faithfully and impartially discharge
and will faithfully and impartially discharge
the duties of said office to the best of my ability.
the duties of said office to the best of my ability.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations. Thank you. All right. At this time, we will have public comments for any item. Public comments, any public comments. If anybody would like to speak, please step towards the microphone up front here. Any public comments? Nothing? Okay. We will move to our first item on the agenda, which is a consideration of a motion to approve the village board minutes from the September 13th, 2021 meeting.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the minutes from the September 13th meeting. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. All opposed? That motion is carried. The next item on the agenda is consideration of a motion to approve vouchers for payment in the amount of $302,716.18.
I'll make a motion to approve the vouchers in the amount of $302,716.18.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the vouchers for $302,716.18.
Just for the public, that is a change of $445. When I was going through payables this morning, there were two vouchers that were identical. Talked to the public work director. It is two separate invoices for Okachi Ready Mix. One was for, what were the two locations of those?
One was on Hartridge for Hartridge Hartridge Sidewalk and Hartbrook. No, I take that back. Hartbrook Sidewalk and Hartridge Curve.
Okay.
That's what I was gonna ask.
Okay. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? That motion is carried. This is a second reading that we have now. A second reading of ordinance repealing 10-206 through 10-232 of the Village of Hartland Code of Ordinances regulating public dances and concerts and creating an ordinance regulating the issuance of special event permits. If the board did want to discuss, they can, but this is just a second reading, so if anybody has anything they want to,
I do. We talked to staff today. The bid is going around with some of their bike race to get signatures again. And the village clerk brought it to my attention. It was actually a good question. In our ordinance, we mentioned that they must get business owners. So we had Jesse Puzach from Birch and Mannion asked, businesses or business owners? For example, there are a lot of businesses down here that don't own the property.
Mm-hmm.
Would it be the board's intention that we add that language to get the business owner and the, because the business owner could sign and say, yes, we're aware of the event without the businesses knowing.
You mean the property owner or
Correct.
the business owner?
Property owner.
It states property owner.
Mhm.
I think it should be the business owner.
Well, I had her,
Just so you know, it's
I had her
just so-
go
yeah, I
and
do
get
that.
signatures for the business and property.
Oh, okay.
That way, the businesses are aware of the property. Are you guys okay with that? That way the business, because you could go,
Yeah,
She
the
mentioned a business on
yeah.
Capitol where you have the pharmacy. Does she contact Rick or the owner?
owner, right?
And what would the board's
Well,
intention be?
and again, the owner may not even be in state.
I understand that, but I want to make sure that our businesses are aware if they're having an event that, you know what I mean?
Oh, so what did you ask it to be changed to?
I'm not sure. That's why I'm trying to see what you guys think
I
is the best.
definitely think it has to have the business in there. I don't know about the owner.
It's a tough one. When we were creating the ordinance, we really didn't think about it. But
For myself, I know I would think, obviously, a building owner or a person that owns property in the village that's affected by it, they should be contacted. But we're trying to get business in the village, so I think that handling the village or the entity, which there could be 4 businesses within a
Right.
building, like in that office building, I don't know, is it Capitol
there's a
Office
couple.
Plaza? You know, there's multiple businesses in there. They're affected just as much and probably more than the person that actually owns the building and is just collecting the lease. So
Yeah,
I would say that's the most fair and appropriate practice.
Yeah, if there was a way to add in the business owner, I think that's
And
what we
business
should.
owners?
Yeah. and business
What
owners,
number is
right?
that?
I agree.
Yes.
It's number 81 on page 3.
Gotcha.
It's where the red part is, where we added in the parade.
But I think the point here is the businesses. The owner of property rents places for people to have business. The better the businesses do, the better the property owner is gonna be. I mean, the property owners, I don't know very few property owners that have said, hey, you can't have an event because you can't make extra money. That's BS. I think that the business, if he thrives, the owner of the property is gonna thrive. If he hurts, the owner of the property is gonna hurt. And the property, the business is what's making the money, not the property owner. And, I mean, okay, I don't have any property, but I know that if I had an event, my owner of the property would say, good, maybe you pay your bills on time. I don't know. It just, to me, makes more sense to have the business, it has to have the business input. The owner, yes, okay, I guess because they're the taxpayer, but it's the business has got to thrive for the owner to be happy.
Yeah, but I agree with trustee Myers, but to this article here on 81, Article 1, is it stating that property owners means of private as well? So it's also saying at least 50% of the property owners along the portion of the street designated to be closed during a special event. So that could be a resident.
Correct.
That's,
Right, so I mean, when we're saying property owners in this, we weren't just talking about for a business, we're talking about all-inclusive.
should we put property owners for residential, business owners for commercial, any other use? Is
Not
that-
just business owners, but businesses.
That's what I meant.
Yeah.
Businesses.
But if you say business.
No, remember, that's not approval.
Right.
All we're doing is saying, we're having this, or they would like to have this event, you're being noticed of it. You don't need to, if you're
just
signing
getting a
it, it
notice. You're
doesn't
just
mean you
signing
approve
that
it or
we have
deny it.
given you the information, correct?
In my opinion, I believe that this is where the language, I think, is helpful when it comes
Mm-hmm.
in stating property owners and rent and lease paying entities.
Yeah,
Because
I
that
would agree.
covers village, that covers business. If you're paying rent,
Renter.
lease, or you own, you have a say in whether or not your street gets shut
I would
down.
concur with President Vanderstel.
We'll update that, you got that, Clerk Igo? So we'll update that for the third and final well, again, it doesn't have to be approved on the third reading, but this is why we have the readings, so that we
Yep,
can.
and
kind
this
of-
is perfect. This is a prime example of why we do the readings. And we can throw in more than that if we want. If the board wants a motion on that, they can, or we can, if we trust that it's just gonna come back to us on the third reading, that suffices, so we don't have to make a motion. Any other items to add in on that anybody has?
Nope.
And we are allowed to make the changes on the third as well. We don't have to pass it on the third, so we do have our time to take a few swings. Anybody else? I'm gonna make a last call here if anybody else has anything. Okay, so that second reading has been done, and those changes requested will be there for the third. The next item we have is the second reading of an ordinance amending 78-56 through 78-62 of the Village of Hartland Code of Ordinances regulating street use permits.
And again, this one is just for residential neighborhood block party style events. That's fine.
Now, again, going back with what we just said, line 61, if less than 75% of the property owners should,
This will not be in business districts.
correct, but some may be rental properties. Is it still the owner, or,
It's the renters.
I think that's originally why the word was households.
yeah,
Yep.
I know, and Chief Misko requests to be property owners.
That's
you
for
don't mind,
liability.
maybe next-
It's probably from a liability standpoint, which makes sense to me.
Yeah.
You-
Oh,
let's-
yeah,
you
yeah.
wanna
To be
email
honest.
us-
Renters don't
email
really
Cohen
have
and
They don't
myself
have
after the
authority
meeting, we
to
can-
Yeah.
we can
make
chat
correct.
about it.
I will, because if we're gonna change the other, it makes sense to do it with this also.
But this is property liability.
So if that's a second reading, let's have,
Chief must go speak to that word.
did you have something to add? That just, we'll have some, we're gonna have some discussion on that next time for sure. Cause those things will be forthcoming.
Yep.
At the next
Okay.
meeting.
I will do that.
You'll email?
Yep.
Okay.
Thanks, Ann.
The next item we have on the agenda is consideration of a motion to approve resolution number 927-2021-02, a resolution accepting public improvements in the Glen and Overlook Trails.
So this is just the developments to the part and completion where the village will take responsibility for the roads and the stormwater. 2 years ago, we took ownership of the water and sewer utility. But if you recall, they didn't put a final binder or the final layer on the roads. We wanted to wait, see how everything settled. They put that final layer on. R&M has inspected. They're good with all the stormwater and road facilities. They will become ownership of the village of Hartland, maintained by the village of Hartland, as intended.
All right.
I'll make a motion to approve the resolution 09272021-02.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve resolution 927-2021-02, a resolution accepting public improvements in the Glen and Overlook Trails. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. All opposed? That motion is carried. Now we have a consideration of a motion to approve resolution number 927-2021-03, a resolution establishing wards within the village of Hartland, Waukesha County. This was explained in the packet, but if anybody has any questions, we fall in the same county seat, or the county supervisor's district now, where there used to be some separation there.
Yeah, there's no real oddities with this. It's just, especially with Badger books, talk to Clerk Igo, everything's very simple with, the wards don't really have any older person meeting or anything with us.
Correct.
I'll make a motion to approve resolution number 0927-2021-03, resolution establishing wards within the village of Hartland, Waukesha County, Wisconsin.
It's been moved and seconded to approve resolution 927-2021-03, a resolution establishing wards within the village of Hartland. With that motion and second, I just want to let everybody know, in case anybody does see those maps and stuff like that, so we're going from 15 wards down to 3, so the.
3?
Or, I'm sorry, down to 13, sorry. We're going from 15 wards down to 13. All they're doing is connecting some wards that used to have to be split because it was in a different county supervisor's district, where now we don't have that, because obviously after the census came out, it makes those changes, so it's all under the same, it's all under Paul Decker's district.
So what defines where a ward is? I missed that.
There's general parameters, there's not specific parameters. This is one of those situations where the state says there can be no more than this many people and no less than this many people, but it's
Okay.
basically up to us.
But it goes by population mostly?
Yeah.
It goes by population.
Do they try to keep it under 1,000?
Yep,
Right, any ward for this purpose has to be under 1,000, so we just took our existing wards and we took those 2 wards that were very small populations that were created due to those, issues with the county supervisory districts, and we just merged those into existing
Oh,
wards.
good.
It reduces it to 13, it has no impact on the voters. Voters no longer need to know what ward they're in due to Badger books, so it's just a function that we are required to do, but has no impact on residents.
Thank you.
any other discussion on that? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? That motion is carried. Now we have items that were referred from the September 20th, 2021 Plan Commission meeting. The first item we have is consideration of a motion to approve an application for extension of a storage room for the Phoenix at 129 Cottonwood Avenue.
And this was approved by the Plan Commission. All it's doing is adding a little bit extra storage, more room for cooler storage for food products and the like.
I make a motion, we approve the storage area increased size for our local business.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded to increase that storage area for the Phoenix at 129 Cottonwood. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. All opposed? That motion is carried. The next item we have is that was referred from the Plan Commission is consideration of a motion to approve a dumpster enclosure for Bank 59, 800 Cardinal Lane. Again, this was sent to us with approval from Plan Commission.
I take it the pictorial on here is identical to what they're proposing? I mean,
Yeah, I
this isn't
thought-
the right place, but they just
Correct.
mocked one up.
Yep. I believe that's a different facility of theirs that might have that.
It
dumpster.
was.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, I'll make a motion to approve the dumpster enclosure for Bank 59 at 800 Cardinal Lane as specified in the pictorials and layout.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded to allow that enclosure, dumpster enclosure for Bank 59 at 800 Cardinal.
I do have a question, and I'm on the planning commission. Tim, you may know this, I don't know. I actually went over there and I drove through where the lane heading west and then south. And they're gonna put that, I assume, where there's a big cutout where the grass is that correct? Because there's barely enough room.
The northwest corner of their property.
Right, because that right now has just grass there. And because at the meeting, it sounded like they were gonna put it on the blacktop that was already there. And I went and looked at it, and it's actually, there's a grass cutout
I
there.
thought they had stated it was up in this northwest corner.
Right, that's where it is on
It's the
here.
northwest corner.
I'm just
Right now, the
verifying that.
dumpsters were-
They're on the
This
blacktop.
way, they're just gonna turn it.
Because if you
90
look at the
degrees.
lanes that they have drawn on here, they actually, this arrow should be in the middle, and it's not. And I drove that, and it's a real tight squeeze. They're gonna have to kind of, how do I put this? Jiggle something around to make it actually work.
Well-
I know there's some trees on the back, though there are some really nice trees back there, and I don't know how far back their property line goes.
I thought they.
I just want to make sure that it's not going to affect all these lanes here.
No, that was not their intent. I know that when he was here, he talked about at the plan commission that I don't believe any of the trees were coming down.
Oh, no, we don't want them to.
Right.
No.
And that, I thought they had quite a bit going back towards the property.
Yeah, a little bit, and I think it's just gonna take up the two corner stalls.
There's no stalls in the corner, it's grass.
No.
do you mean?
I was there yesterday. The dumpsters are right here now. Both dumpsters are right
Right,
here.
correct.
And they're just gonna turn it here, but there's stalls, like here.
No, there's grass there.
It's blacktop, but it's gonna be in the corner here.
That's correct.
Okay, okay. All right, okay.
I wasn't at Plan Commission. I'm guessing they gave it a thorough
Yeah.
look, but I.
I just wanted to make sure. Okay.
Anybody else on discussion for the dumpster enclosure for Bank 59 at 800 Cardinal Lane? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? That motion is carried. The next item we have on the agenda is consideration of motion to approve an agreement with American Leak Detection of Wisconsin for the 2021 water main leak detection program in the amount of $6,800.
So let me give you a little background on this. We've been doing this for at least 8 years. What we do is we hire a company that comes out, and what they do is put a listening device on every hydrant in the village of Hartland. And then once they hear a sound of water leak, they put one on a hydrant downstream, and they correlate it. It's called correlation, and it'll pinpoint the water leak. So we've been doing this, and it's a great success. Last year, American Leak Detection got the contract as well. They found 5 leaks and an estimated loss of 100,000 gallons of water in them 5 leaks. So this pays off. A lot of municipalities don't go this route. They just wait till they surface. So we're being proactive, and what we do is try to find it before it surfaces so we can eliminate the problem. This year we put it out for bid, and 2 companies bid on it. Again, American Leak Detection was low, with not to exceed $6,800. The next proposal came in at $11,000. So staff is recommending that we award the 2021 leak detection program to American Leak Detection of Wisconsin for the sum of $6,800.
Now, is it for the the summer not to exceed, meaning that based on how many leaks they fill is what the cost is gonna be.
It's
$6,800.
whatever it
for
takes
that.
for time, so
They cannot go over that.
So last year it was $6,400 for American leak detection. They charged us $6,000, so came under the.
Okay, that's what I mean, it could come under.
Yeah, that is correct.
Do they actually fix the leak or just find it?
We fix the leaks.
Yeah,
The
that's what I
DPW
thought.
fixes the leaks. They locate it and pinpoint
Okay.
it for us.
But the sooner we find them, you can make smaller repairs versus
Right.
having.
Yeah.
That is correct.
So,
I'll make a motion to approve the agreement with American Leak Detection of Wisconsin for the 2021 water main leak detection program.
Second.
Not to exceed $6,800.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded, correct me if I'm wrong, it's been moved and seconded to approve the agreement with American Leak Detection of Wisconsin for the 2021 water main leak detection program in an amount not to exceed $6,800.
Correct. Thank you.
Thank you. I just wanted to make sure I said it right.
Thank you.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. All opposed? That motion is carried. The next item we have is consideration of a motion to award a contract for the 2021 sanitary sewer cleaning and televising program to Vouchers Sewer, Inc. in the amount of $22,160.
So for the sewer cleaning, what the village does is every year we clean a third of our sewer system. That consists of just running the lines and making sure that there's no clogs or roots. And if there is, they report them to the DPW. Then as far as the second half of that contract proposal, it is for televising. So what we do is before we pave roads, we televise all them sewer mains and make sure there's no catastrophic damage. So we don't want to dig the road up after it's paved. So we would be a little aggressive on that. And then what we do is we send it up for a proposal. This year's Vouchers Sewer came in at 26 cents for sewer cleaning per linear foot and 68 cents for televising, for a total of 2,200. What is it?
22,160.
Yeah, there you go.
2,000, I'll take 2,000.
Right, 20,000. 20,800 for cleaning and 1,360 for televising. The competitor that put a proposal in against him, his televising was 8,600, and his cleaning of the sewer lines were $68,000. Wow. The person that won our contract is Vouchers Sewer. They have guaranteed that they are not going to lose 3 communities, and we are one of the communities because we're in their backyard.
So I have to ask a question. I mean, that's a huge disparity.
Huge disparity.
So what's,
So here's the situation. The situation is they've been doing, for the 25 years I've been here, Vouchers Sewer has been our contractor for cleaning. I talked to Ryan Bailey to maybe lock into a multi-year contract, a 3 to 5 year, because eventually the prices are gonna go up.
yeah.
They've been this price for years, for at least 5 years.
we'll quote it out, but we're curious if there's any savings for a 3 to 5 year.
Yeah.
Vouchers should, honestly, there's a bunch of municipalities, they're just always the lowest. I don't know the how or why.
They're real big in there, and they're in Sussex over there.
Yeah, they're in
Backyard,
Sussex.
yeah.
Yeah, we use Visual over Delhart for years, and they've saved us tons of money as far as repair work, and they're very consistent. I've never heard a problem with anything that they've ever done. I've never had a problem. I don't think we have in Hartland either, have we?
Nope, we have
Never
not.
had a problem. It's always consistent, and they've really identified some real major problems, especially the idea that you have now that they go through the pipes before we put the new road on top.
Yes.
Makes a lot of sense, so that's save us a lot of money.
So for now, we're just asking for approval of a 1 year. We'll see if there is any equity to a 3 to 5 year. Go from there.
I'll make a motion then to approve the contract for a 2021 sanitary sewer cleaning and televising program with Visuserv in the amount of $22,160.
It's been moved and seconded to award a contract for the 2021 sanitary sewer cleaning and televising program to Vouchers Sewer, Inc. in the amount of $22,160. Any discussion? There's not a guarantee that that has to go up, for the record. I know it was said that someday it will. Maybe they can, loyalty.
I get it. I get it.
All in favor? Aye. All opposed? That motion is carried. Now we have discussion and consideration of a motion to approve the installation of a historical marker in Nixon Park. It's my understanding, based on the information we have, that this was reviewed. This was sent to us from a previous meeting. Do you want to touch on that, please?
So that is correct. So the village board liked the idea of a historical marker. They just didn't like the location of the marker. So I set up a meeting with Louise Hermstead and 2 board members. We walked Nixon Park and we came up with a spot by the north end of the pond where the river splits off and it goes down the Bark River and into the pond. I attached a map for you. Everybody was in favor that was on that walk, so we recommend placing a historical marker at Nixon, on the north end of the Nixon Pond. And just FYI, there is no monetary financial burden on the village of Hartland. It is the blue dot, correct.
Well, the only concern I have is, this is the first one we've ever had. For some reason, the village has not been lucky enough to get the historical markers, even though we have history. But in the middle of this thing, it talks about the founders also to the first congressional church in 1842. Now, we've talked about having another historical marker downtown, right across from the church. Is that right?
That is correct.
So we're looking at another one right there. So why would we take Nixon Park way down here, include that, and then we're gonna put the church up right across the street from the church, but it's gonna be a historical marker down at Nixon Park rather than up here by the church? I don't understand that. Why would they combine that? Why, I don't understand.
Just the way I remember her explaining it is that because this was a first one, in case we never get another one, it was a grand overview of Hartland. Not saying I agree with it, I'm just telling, this is how I remember her explaining it when she was here, where she said, like, if one was up at the church, that would, is she?
Ms. Hermstead.
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, I'm sorry. Can you please come forward? No, I appreciate you telling me that. I did not realize that she was here. I'm sorry.
I think you stated that well. So this was looked at as an overview marker, since we haven't had one at all in Hartland. And it does reference a number of different things. We have had some discussion about a second one that could be over on the corner where the Stephen Warren home is, the church right across the street, and referencing the Bur Oak Tavern. That might be something we come to you next year with. So
there's no thought about putting one across the street from the church up there?
well, that's where I'm saying it
So there
could
is
be
gonna
on
be
that
one there. They're
corner.
talking about that.
Could be on that corner.
So if it does go there, then you're not gonna reference the church there that people can see rather than Nixon Park? Doesn't make sense. Why would, I mean, if we have just one, let's really zero it in. Because if we're gonna have a second one at some time, hopefully we'll be more popular with the county and get another one. It just doesn't make sense why we put it down there. Why would try to combine everything now when we know we're gonna get more?
We don't know.
Huh?
Well, I think.
We don't know yet. I think
Yeah.
what it is, she's looking at visibility and the amount of people in the park.
Yeah, I think it was prompted, the notion to look at a second one, or I'm thinking a second one at this point, was because of comments made at this meeting, that perhaps there's other historic structures in town, and there seemed to be a cluster on that corner where Capitol and Maple and Church kind of intersect. There's 3 historic buildings there. So, I mean, if you feel that that would be one you'd want to pursue, in the future, we could look at altering the copy for the one that you've already approved. But I don't know that it's that big a deal to have something repeated.
Mike, are you saying you want that sentence out of there?
Yeah, I don't
Oh,
know
okay.
why we want to mention the church and because that takes away from all the other activities
Yeah.
that was done there when the activity with the church was done up on the other part of our town.
Right.
It just seems like we're getting the short
think-
stick here. We're only
No, I
getting
got-
one
the way I-
marker for 2 historical
The way I
parks.
read it is they're talking about Stephen Warren.
Yeah.
And because he founded the church, that's
Right.
why they're talking about it. I'm just saying
Right.
I don't,
It's more about him.
Yeah.
right.
So then those words won't be on the other one that's going to be up by the church?
No, there would be reference because it'd be referencing the church, the Warren home, some connection between the two because his wife had a melodeon that they used to carry across the Plank Road and play at the church, and the church still has that melodeon. And the Bur Oak Tavern being right on the Plank Road, housing travelers as they came down the Plank Road.
And that's exactly why I think we should not put it at the park, but reference that up here by the church where it was.
Are you saying move the whole marker?
No, I'm just saying, take that section out. And it doesn't, you know, the reference to the church down there, but I don't know. Maybe I just like to have things where it's easier for me to see.
Yeah.
I guess I think her point is, we don't know if there's gonna be a second one, so this is
Yeah.
inclusive, a generalization for our first one, and if we do, you can always, as she said, she can change it, or,
Yeah, we can
Get
take
it
that
more
out,
detailed
and then
down
if
the
one
road.
goes by the church, we can add it in. I mean, it's either way on however the,
I thought we
We can
already had the
request it.
second one, because we saw the rough draft of it, didn't we?
That was a
day?
rough draft, correct.
Yeah, so that's kind of, I thought that was already kind of started in the works for next year possibly.
Right.
Okay. So then it wouldn't be a big deal just to take that out, would it?
We could take out the reference to the church on the one at Nixon Park if you'd like, sure. Now that we're talking about this second one, and if you really think that would be a good location over there and appropriate
Yes.
items to reference. And I do think the location that has been chosen now for that Nixon Park one will work really nicely. It's right along the Ice Age Trail, lots of activity at Nixon Park, so it's a good.
I think it's
location.
cool that with the location
Yeah,
being there, you have
okay.
the trestle in the back,
Right.
that stone trestle, which they speak about the
Yeah.
railroads here. And
Yeah, yeah, be very nice. And it'll probably be a couple of weeks after you approve that sign at Nixon Park before that would be installed, so it'll happen fairly quickly.
Okay.
You guys are installing it?
No,
Everything?
the sign company's installing
Okay.
it.
Okay.
It's being paid for. Rotary's covering it.
Trustee Lutke, did you have something?
No, I guess I just am saying that I just feel blessed that the Historical Society collaborated with the Rotary.
Yeah.
And that you're trying to bring some sort of, history to our community so that as our residents continue to grow and thrive, and Nixon is a great area for that. We bring in a ton of individuals that come from outside of Hartland to that park. So for me, I'm not so worried so much about the specific verbiage, because I think it is speaking a little bit to like a high level of just Mr. Warren in general. Then if we want to get tailored into some specifics, I'm okay with that. But I just appreciate you guys even thinking about us and doing it for us in the first place, because you don't have to, right?
Yeah.
It's the first time we've had it, so.
Glad to see one come into Heartland. Thanks.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Sorry for not realizing that you were actually right here. My apologies on that. Do we have a motion, don't we?
Good motion.
We had a motion, correct? I just wanted to make sure. We do not have a motion. Okay, I'm glad I asked.
I'll make a motion to approve the installation of a structure for the, I'm sorry, wrong thing. To approve the installation of a historical marker in Nixon Park.
Second.
With the changes?
It's been,
No address, leave the church piece in?
That's my motion.
I was gonna say, it's been moved and seconded to approve the installation of a historical marker in Nixon Park. Now, since I can feel where this is, well, I'm just saying it just so that they know, if someone, the motion's on the floor. If a person did want to amend the motion and put it before the body, they can. I just want to make sure, I know this gets tough with the rules, just letting everybody know that there is a motion on the floor.
The motion on the floor is to what's been presented to us.
Correct.
Not any other changes that have been discussed.
Correct. It's without any changes, it says, it shows. Any discussion? If there was, someone wanted to amend it, now would be the time, I guess, is all I was trying to say, just so that I can do it properly. I don't want it to turn into me pulling signs here.
So if I would like to amend it that we take that one sentence out. And then
You just say, make a motion
I make a
to amend it
motion
to take that
to
sentence out
amend
referring to
the
church.
motion to take that sentence out referring to the church. Do we need a
I'll
second?
second that.
Okay, we have a motion on the table, but first we have our motion now is an amendment to remove the line referencing the church. Any discussion? Do you want to talk about that at all? Okay.
It's been discussed.
Any discussion? Okay, go ahead, Rick.
I was just gonna say, I still like it in there. I think it's referencing Warren and just some of the things that he did. So I don't think it's specific to the church, even though it mentions the church, but mentions a few other things. So I still think, in my opinion, it should stay in there.
To Rick's point, when he mentions his home and his address of his home where this other sign will potentially end up being, it's kind of high level. I don't think it's that big a deal to leave it in.
Okay. All right, so, well, with that, let's vote on this amendment unless anybody has anything else they want to add in discussion. So what we're voting on right now is not the total motion, just the amendment to the motion. The amendment is to take out the line referencing the First Congressional Church. All in favor of taking out the line, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
Aye.
Okay, that motion, so the amendment fails, the motion is still on the floor. And that was, did you get those? I did. Got it. So we have the main motion of approving the sign and the location as it was presented. Any discussion on that? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed?
Nay.
Did you get those, Darlene? The motion does pass on a 4-2, yes.
Thank you.
I didn't like that at all. I want to move
Oh,
on to
that was like-
we're moving on to the next one here.
I was like, I'm gonna get my imaginary scissors out. Start cutting.
Discussion and consideration of a motion to approve the installation of a structure in the village's sanitary easement at 206 North Ave.
So this one's a little bit confusing. They want to install a new 6x24 deck, new asphalt concrete drive, retaining wall. You received all the materials from the building inspector. You're here for it? So obviously, the building inspector is recommending, the staff recommendation is if the board is okay with it, to have the village attorney draft a new easement. Because the fear is that if we ever do have to go dig that up we ever have to go dig something up in that easement, it could alter the deck. Go ahead, sorry.
We purchased the home in 1993, and when we bought it, we were told that the sewer line ran down the center of the driveway. Subsequently, when they would do work on the sewer, we noticed they were marking our retaining wall, the retaining wall that was right under the Florida room, the Florida room, when it was built, we're guessing sometime in the 70s, it wasn't provided with adequate foundation, so it's been, we've too, but and all of that was back in the 80s, and the sewer was put in 1933. I'm guessing WPA. And when our house was built in 51, they allowed the permit at that time to build the house 1 foot from the sewer easement. So that's all we have. We have an 11-foot Florida room that is built out, all but 1 foot of it is over the sewer easement. And what we would like to do is we talked with Scott, the building inspector, and he said that you could allow an easement or they would allow us egress, because our out of our kitchen, we'd like to have the egress, have the deck go out to the front of the house 6 feet, and we want to make it nice, AZEC type of deck, so that it's quality, it's not going to fall apart, and we want it to be sturdy. We talked about having helical piers, that's in there, and our neighbor across the street actually installs them. And he said that those can actually be removed if need be. So it gives you a good sturdy foundation, but if the sewer ever has to be dug up, you could have those removed and then reinserted later. And we do understand that it would be our responsibility for anything that is infringing upon the sewer easement. And we just want to do the right thing. We want to, move that and have the wall come right out under the deck. So the less we're infringing upon that district, the sewer easement, the better. We want to do the right thing. We don't want to leave it for somebody in the future to have to deal with. We'd rather just bite the bullet and do it right. So that's what we're asking for.
I will give it a little insight on a sewer repair. So if it's a crack in a sewer line, sewer main, We can line that so we wouldn't have to aggressively dig up their driveway. The only way we'd have to dig up their driveway if there's pipe failure, if it collapses. So, but the majority of our repairs are aligning. So what they do is they go from one manhole to the other, they measure off the distance where the crack is, and then they put a sectional liner in there through the inside of the pipe.
And I think they lined it this summer, recently, maybe it was last
We
summer.
did a spot lining
Yeah.
up on North
That's what I
Avenue.
was gonna ask, is if we
Yeah.
could do something before, when it's torn down, before you build the new one, if we could do that, but you said it's
Yeah.
already been done.
I think it was
Okay.
done recently, within the last year, I believe.
You don't dig it out anyway, you go into the manhole.
He's stating it was a spot.
So-
It wasn't the whole thing.
That is correct.
When
I
he's
think it
talking about
was,
the whole thing.
I think it was part of an overall upgrade. It wasn't.
It was a crack up
Oh.
on North Avenue.
Okay.
But again, even with the deck, the new deck, there's no issue unless you have a catastrophic failure.
That is 100% correct.
And those liners are just outstanding. I mean, Delhart put one from Neshota all the way down to Delafield and saved about over $1 million. So if we can put that liner in there, it's almost, that's better than even tearing it up for sure. A lot less expensive. So I think it's a great idea.
So again, with this, I think they're looking for, if you guys do have a motion for it, huh?
To direct.
Yeah, to direct the village attorney. That's all. I just want to make
I'd
sure.
like to see us direct and have it come back. If we approve, would that be appropriate?
Yeah.
Is that fair?
You can do it however, the building inspector was thinking if you wanted to approve it based on letting Hector approve it. I mean, we can bring it back.
Oh, I see.
But Scott
And
was
just allow
saying
staff-
just,
I'm
it's
comfortable with that.
contingent on X.
Yep, yep. I feel comfortable
Hector
with that.
and staff, I would say, building inspector, Dave Faulkner.
I feel comfortable with that.
I'll make a motion to approve the installation of the structure for the easement at 206 North Avenue.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? Any discussion on that? I am gonna ask for an amendment. Oh, go
Yeah, I
ahead.
was just gonna say in discussion, because in the staff recommendation in the memo from Scott, it does state that then once he gets the okay from the village board, that then he would direct the attorney.
Yeah.
So do you
I
want
just-
that in the motion, or do you think that we should just keep it?
Because we're the
All right.
end all be all. And I'm sorry, I was just gonna
Yep,
amend.
can I,
and
may
add
I,
it, but
President, may I
you-
restate my motion?
If it's allowed with the second, who seconded?
Yes, I allow it.
Comment, I think he was saying that Scott gave me the impression it was going to be preliminary, that you once, that it would come back to you for final approval.
That's what I thought, okay.
Yeah, so, because one of the things that I noticed when I got the information is that they had this is 27 feet as opposed to 24 feet. So it would be just a correction. I want to make sure it's done, that you get the correct information at the time.
Understood.
So,
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
I would be open to that motion.
Well, hold on, though, at that point, I don't think you're not approving the installation of a structure.
Right, I was gonna say, so
So-
that we need to then renew.
Now you
the-
really, all you'd be doing is,
You have to take the motion down.
yeah. Because she's saying if the intent was for you to get another shot at it, you wouldn't be approving the installation of the deck. You would be directing Hector and staff to come up
Yep.
with an easement.
That's
and
what I
bring it
thought that
back.
we were gonna do, we were including, or I thought
I
that
will
that-
include that in my motion.
all in the same motion, that way, then we're just
For the
letting
proposed
staff
plans.
deal with it, because we're all in agreement on what they're doing. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So I'll just restate my motion. I'd like to make a motion to approve the proposed plan for the installation of the structure at 206 North Avenue with direction from the village attorney and village staff.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to allow for the installation of the structure in the village's sanitary easement at 206 North Ave with the stipulation that the staff and specific village attorney and other staff provide the proper guidance for that to see through. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? That motion is carried.
There's a letter from Hector in here.
Well, good, he'll be able to, yeah. Now we have discussion related to handicap parking stalls in the downtown area.
This come back to the board a couple times on this for discussion. The board wanted me to look at specific locations that meet the ADA. Part of that is that you need to have 5 feet off the curb for a ramp and for a handicap for a wheelchair to turn around. I note, I attached a second map on this, And on this map, I highlighted 5 areas where I feel that it would work. And here's the unfortunate thing. Every one of them areas, when I walk through downtown, every one of them private businesses has a private ADA handicap spot. So I feel if there is one that we should go for, it would be the one on North Avenue by BMO Bank. That would be easy access, and it's close to the crosswalk, so if you want to go either side of East Capitol, that would be the one that I recommend. The other ones, I know they're really busy businesses, and I think that the business owners might have a problem with a handicap spot.
And all those business owners already have a private handicap spot.
Every one of these business owners have a private handicap spot, correct?
Okay. If I could just throw into you, and I know it was in the minutes that I kind of talked about this, and I hope it's very clear, I'm not against handicap spots. It does make it difficult if one business owner has a handicap spot in front of theirs. I know we're thinking of like, then they'll have one, and that's gonna be better for them. But there are some business owners that will look at it like, the value of your property and the rent you can get just went down. Because nothing else can go in that space. Not truck delivery, not a semi that's parking, nothing. And I think it's very important we note that because we do take ADA seriously, especially handicap parking. But it isn't like, well, since no one's parking, it's not like 15 minutes, like, hey, they'll understand I'm here for 25 because I'm unloading and taking the stuff over to Hometown Pharmacy, or I'm unloading and taking it over to Palmer's. There is none of that. There's no, you do not get to go there. And I do notice, and I'm just going through one Saturday, try 3 or 4 weeks, maybe 5. But I was in Oconomowoc, and each one of those empty spots are there. I'm very hesitant I'm just worried about, it's not that it's a bad idea, it's a great idea. I'm just very hesitant because you could have a village that's packed with the Lake Country players are going, Palmer's is knocking it out of the park. All the other businesses that bring people in are going, and you're gonna have some of these spots that aren't being used. And also during the day, we have a lot of service industry that's bringing in, I see the semis all the time. Literally, it's like, no, you can't park over that. I'm just very hesitant, but that's only my opinion. I'm not against having handicap parking. I just am worried about putting it on the.
So you did ask the board, the bid to take it back to their board meeting. I contacted somebody from that bid board, and they said that they didn't think there was a concern at this time to proceed with this.
Yeah.
Yeah, there were some businesses that didn't want it.
Yeah.
I have a question.
Yes.
The businesses that already have a handicap stall or parking space in their parking lot, can anyone park there or only their customers?
Legally, just their customers, because if you go into any of them parking stalls and you don't frequent that business, it's technically trespassing.
Correct.
Okay, well, for example, not to pick on Tom, but Tom Brass, I believe, has handicap behind his building. So if I have my mom's handicap, I'm taking her downtown, can I park in his parking lot and not have to worry about getting a ticket?
If you frequent that business building.
You can park in his parking lot because Tom's not gonna call you in
I
to
know
get a
that, I
ticket.
understand that, but technically,
There is.
after business hours, that's what I'm trying to get at.
Yeah.
That's where I was going with this. So if it's after business hours,
It's still private
it's
property.
still private property.
Yes.
I would also defer you to the police chief to verify.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, I don't think we should be answering any questions for the.
Legal questions.
I did talk to the police chief on this.
It's just something
He
that-
said
Yeah,
that
it's like
it
public
would,
policy.
the business owner would have to call on that person that's occupying that space.
It is
And it is
something-
subject to a ticket.
It was something that was brought up to me by somebody who was requesting some of this, so I just wanted to get the answer on it.
Sure.
We have 26 handicap spots downtown, and 9 of which are public.
That is correct.
Well, there's one correction in my parking lot, the only enemy is one, I have 2 handicaps. But then, of course.
Well, nobody
There's-
in the back can get up the stairs.
there's
Yeah, but he
different
still
there's
has
different-
spots.
There's different
Yes.
types of handicap,
Yes, that's true.
so
Yeah.
not everybody that's
That's true.
handicapped
That's true.
is impaired from walking up a step, it's just. that-
I'm thinking
At
wheelchair,
the-
I'm sorry.
No, I know,
That's kinda
but
where
there's
my
different
head is.
levels.
At the village level, okay, at the village hall, not only do we have spaces for our library, but I believe that's at a higher level. Because we are a village, and everybody's gonna be coming to use those resources, just like out front on Cottonwood. We have a space there, Because most of what uses that is people stopping to have to go up to the village office, which should be anyone. You know, but that's the same rules kind of apply. They can use the elevator, but it's like they wouldn't be able to go up the stairs. It'd be
Yeah,
tough to get
right.
in the door. But the same type of rules apply. But people could be coming to pay water bills and all of those types of things. But when it comes to ADA compliance, they do put it on the businesses for in their parking lot. I think it's important to note that ADA hasn't gone that far to say, hey, we want to make sure you have public spaces throughout your entire village that have that. And I think it's for that exact reason, because the guidelines and the law is so strict on that. And it's important that it stays that strict, because it's not like it's just a 2-hour parking where you can stay over once in a while and you can change things. It's not like you can just go put a sign over and say, okay, it's not handicap parking anymore. You don't get to do that. I mean, you're gonna run into some serious.
Any new construction parking lot, 1% has to be ADA parking.
Right.
Based on how many parking stalls you have in that parking lot, so many percentage has to be dedicated to ADA.
Right. I just get worried about all of this, and I know I'm talking long on it, but I get worried because even if the space, the ADA space, is 4 businesses away, and we put a handicap space in, well, what's the difference between that and another? It's still gonna be pretty tough to get over there. You know, we're not gonna put one in the front door of every single person. It's still gonna be really, really tough.
I do think that Dave picked out a very good spot, though, over on North Avenue, because you're between the ingress and egress of the bank, and I think, how many parking spots are there, 1 or 2?
At
Right
this
now.
spot?
Yes, by
One.
the parking lot, yeah.
There's 2 at the spot. This would be the
But-
first one.
But, and there's no semis that I know of that would park there for anything really there. I'm just saying that would be the spot I would vote for if we were going to put one downtown
Who would park there?
for handicap.
Yeah,
Somebody going
there's nowhere to
Downtown?
go.
right down this way, you can push a wheelchair this way, a lot easier than coming up this back way. There's no way to push a wheelchair this way. If you had to take somebody downtown, let's say for dinner, and they're in a wheelchair,
Yeah.
where are you gonna park?
If I had to
Let's say you're going to Zesties, where are you gonna park?
I would park in one of these spaces here.
If you couldn't.
If I couldn't,
if
I'd
it
go
was
park
full.
in Tom's. That's just me, but that's what I would do.
Okay.
No, I hear
Whatever.
what you're saying. I think it's a really long walk. Maybe they will park over there.
It
I just know that
is.
when people got to walk 4
But
blocks.
I don't think these are good ideas.
But, yep. No, I hear you. I hear you.
I'm just saying, if we did pick one, that would be my choice out of what's on here.
Okay. I just, yeah.
And I'm just saying, because I am pushing a wheelchair.
Right. No, I got you. So where are we going now? No, what do we do?
Nothing, there's no consideration. Again, I would,
Someone can they? Can't they?
You did a good
Discussion?
job,
Oh,
thank you, Dave.
Discussion,
Thanks.
okay.
again, with this, a situation like this was brought, everyone explored it. If the board, together as a group, feels very passionately that we should or shouldn't add, we can bring it back to a future meeting if somebody really wants something on. We have no issue.
I would-
This gives all of you some background information
Yeah.
on where, and probably helps the public.
It's nice to know.
And I think it, just so that everybody knows, and so the public knows, so that they can contact any of their elected officials at any time, any board member could say, hey, instead of it just being, I just happened to notice that it said discussion and didn't say action. But if it says discussion, or they could put it on, ask for it to be on the agenda of, I want action that we put this on in this location. So, and anybody has the right to put that on, for a future meeting.
Yeah, just to close that out, I mean, I guess the goal for me too is to find a way for there to be some sort of inclusiveness, right? So us offering the handicap spot, even if that's at Mr. Faulkner's recommendation, as I think that shows that the village is putting their best foot forwards, right, for individuals. So I am for that if we bring this back to the table to discuss that. However, I do think there would be some further discussion that would need to happen probably with the business owner as well, right? Because it's a spot, because that has not happened at this time, too. So there would need to obviously be further action to a spot, but.
It is public, and I don't think that would affect that business owner very much, because they have their
Yeah.
own lot right there.
Yeah.
How often do you see someone parked in that spot? I'm just kind of piggybacking off of what you
At
were saying.
nighttime, you do,
Only for a restaurant.
yeah.
Well, instead of waiting though, I mean, based on what you're saying, and I do agree with Trustee Ludke, should we just have it put on for the next meeting
Well,
for that space? It does sound like there's quite a bit of consensus that that space, and we're finding out it's hardly ever used for regular
Hello,
parking, so,
yeah.
and semis aren't gonna be parked there for taking
Right.
food to someone. You are correct on
I
that.
still think we should, since it's right next to BMO,
should
I think
discuss it with
we
them.
need to make contact with
I think we would
the
need.
person who's in charge at BMO.
Do we have the painting capabilities?
Yeah, we do.
We have color, is it gonna be like pink?
You just, we have yellow paint.
We don't.
No,
So it'll be pink.
that's okay. I
We'll,
like
we'll
that.
find
Okay,
it.
well,
I'll park there on Wednesdays.
You want
Is
us?
that what you're directing me to?
or Ryan, if you wanna touch base with them,
Okay.
whoever, I don't care.
We'll talk
See
to you.
what their
I think it makes
thoughts
sense,
are.
it's a moot point if they deny it.
It's not gonna take it, they're not gonna deny it. They got a parking
I know,
lot.
but I'm just saying.
I think more of the places that don't have parking lots.
We'll
you
go
know,
talk to them and then,
Yeah.
we'll report on the next agenda.
Dave, nice job on this, by the way.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, this has been a good update.
You know you missed one.
It's on the other
Thank you
map.
very much, Mr. Felkner. Okay, so we'll look forward to that for next time. Now we have discussion related to the use of Zoom remote meeting capabilities. When are we going to the new room?
Go peek at it, it looks pretty cool. They got some,
Did they give us a date? Are we cutting a ribbon
we're hoping
soon?
by October 11th is the hope.
Balloons, confetti?
This isn't, this is
Cake?
the new room, it's not.
Cake.
Right, we're hopeful. Yeah, so they had some light fixtures that we had to revise to some new light fixtures, which we had to revise to some new light fixtures, because,
They said not to reuse those old 1980s.
no, so
cans.
some of the light fixtures weren't gonna make it in time for the uplighting on the wall. They would have been like December, and then the new ones they picked wouldn't have fit the size, so, just like everything else in this world, it's, but if you do go look at it, it's pretty cool. The wall's done, the TVs are in. Hopefully, I think the goal is to have our cable person, Ben, kind of give it a pre-run before the October 11th, and if all is well, we'll be in there October 11th.
Okay, so starting October, that's fantastic. Because that makes the Zoom much easier, correct, Ben?
Yes, it would, absolutely.
Okay.
So we've gotten that. The point of this item is there, obviously with the world that we're in, we've had some desires from people to possibly have that capability. I know the board made a decision to end it, so again, I felt it was necessary to come forward if the board has a desire to do Zoom or not do Zoom, just so we know what to do.
Okay. I'd like to see us get back to it. I don't know where this thing's going with this variant with COVID, so, I'd at least like we're putting the time and money in. I wanna get to the point where we have the capabilities. You know, if someone doesn't feel comfortable coming, I don't know, I think that we're at that point where we should, I know most corporations have the ability for Zoom meetings and stuff like that. I'd just like to see us at least have it. So, that's just me. I think it's a good idea. I think that's part of the step up, but I'm trying to hold off and say, why don't we, instead of trying to do it in here, I know it's very difficult for all of staff to put it in here, but if we're going over there October 11th, then we can have that open, so that people can participate
I do specifically.
without having to come in.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
What? No, go ahead.
I do
I'm done.
specifically like it when we have to bring in our contracted services, right? So they can zoom right in and they zoom right out, and we, from the village standpoint, aren't paying for
Correct.
them
Yep.
sitting here if it ends up being a
Yep.
long meeting.
Yep.
Right? We're paying for just the time that they spoke if we give them a specific time. So I do like the Zoom from that
I think the
capability.
public likes to be able to come in and speak, where then they can kind of have the meeting on, but they don't
That's
have
true.
to sit here the whole night.
It's
You
also
know.
advantageous for us, there's some of us have to travel, so if
Right.
we're traveling out of town, I
Yep.
can still be in there with,
Yep, yep.
without missing the
So
meeting.
I don't take any direction, I'll just, because we don't have any consideration, I'll just go forward with it.
Yep.
Again, it's,
If that's okay with you.
absolutely, as long as Ben is fine with it.
Alquist is, you guys will just have to decide, for the committees also.
That's what I was gonna
I
say.
think that's up to the chair people of the committee on if they want it. I mean, I think it's a good idea. But the person that's running the meeting, they're running the meeting, so there's gotta be extra hands on deck or something, whether that's someone that's actually part of the board, whatever it is, Ecos, Parks, that they're helping, or however we work it, maybe there's a way we can do it, I don't know.
Yeah,
Cause
for
without
sure.
Ben there, it's kinda tough. Is there a way to do it when it's just a board? I don't know.
For sure, plan commission and village board, I can run the plan commission, because that's not on TV, but I can run the Zoom.
Okay.
When we get to the village board, Ben, do you feel you can run the village board, or are we gonna need somebody to run it?
It should be simplified once we have all of the equipment set up with the new boardroom, so I
Okay.
think that should be fine for me taking care of it during village board
Perfect.
With it being more simplified, we may be able to make it where maybe just like a commission member or somebody like that would be able to run it for other meetings.
All right. So, again, there's no consideration on there. I don't think it's needed. I think it's heard, and we'll go forward with it.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
You okay with that? Sorry, I didn't ask you.
Did you have anything to add?
You guys covered it.
Announcements.
I have one.
What?
So I just found out from a little vampire at the village that we are gonna be hosting our residential trick or treat on October 31st. So all the little ghosts and goblins will be out. Halloween's a great time. So it's October 31st, 6 to 8, village-wide trick or treat. Just a reminder, if you are walking your little ghosts or goblins and they're little, let's maybe hold their hands and watch the traffic, and maybe don't let littles go out by themselves. And only go to homes that have their lights on, please. And then thank you to our fire and police department, because they always show up and they're patrolling and they're just around because they know we've got so many people out in town. I love Halloween.
I can tell. You're so excited.
I am excited.
You didn't even bring us candy. Maybe
No,
next meeting.
Come knock on your door. Dress up. I might, yeah.
Rick? Anything good? Ma'am? Adam? Mike?
Fine.
Anything? Chief?
Is it to talk about Halloween?
Can't update this because it needs some stuff.
Yeah, because it's gotta be like.
Chief
plugged
Chamberts,
in.
just some updates. This weekend will be very busy. We have 2 homecomings, Lake Country Lutheran and Arrowhead. So the parade starts at 4 o'clock. Whatever we can staff, we will have in it. We will have both ambulances out at the games, obviously, unless there's a call. And then we have, for Lake Country Lutheran, they have their fireworks display, so we'll have our grass rig truck up there. And then if I have enough people and they want to, we may be displaying the flags for a couple quarters for them at each game. And then on Saturday, there is a display out in Oconomowoc at the Fleet Farm. It's an apparatus display. Couple of counties. So our county, Jefferson County, comes in. Last year we flew the flag with Jefferson Fire with their ladder truck and put it up between the two. And that runs from 3 until 7 o'clock at night. The group that runs it is Fire and Iron. It's a motorcycle club with a lot of firefighters in it. So, and then they have food they serve. And then also our pancake breakfast, October 9th, Saturday, 7 to noon at the firehouse. We will be practicing social distancing. Tables will be spread out. We're also going to offer takeouts. We're not going to do a drive up or anything, but if somebody wants to come in and just get pancakes and stuff and take it home, we'll be ready for them. So.
Kids, people can go in Flight for Life, they can view it. There are no rides, correct?
Yes.
That was a
No
question.
Listen, that
rides.
really hurts.
Yeah. Flight for Life will be here at 10 o'clock. Helicopter will land in the field out by the softball park and be here for probably about 45 minutes, so people can go out and view the helicopter, talk to the pilots, the meds, and everybody that's on it. So, yeah, they don't let generally anybody ride along.
You said 7 to noon?
7 to noon, yes.
Chief, could you touch on, it looks like there's gonna be a training burn that's going to be coming, and I know sometimes when people see that and the public isn't notified, I know it's gotten pushed back a little
They
bit.
just pushed it back, yes. We had been training, there's a house in Merton on Kilbourne Road, I believe, just under the railroad tracks. We'd been training in there the last 2 weekends, or last weekend, they had the big training, and they were gonna burn it down next weekend, but they pushed that off till the end of the month. I believe the burn down now will be October 30th, so. So I just got that today.
Right,
What's
I
that?
just don't, that's why I brought it,
Yeah.
because I don't want, someone's gonna see that smoke and think,
Sure,
what's
yeah.
happening? And people get worried.
Yes.
you know?
Oh, yeah.
We had that
Absolutely.
with the young
So
ones,
that's, yeah, that's actually a Merton house that they
Yeah.
asked us to come and help them out. And so I believe there were 30 training burns in that house that they had set up. So they had 2 shifts, a morning and an afternoon shifts. We had a couple of our pieces of equipment there, and we had enough for 2 groups to go up there. They got a lot of good training out of it, so.
Okay.
Hopefully not.
Awesome.
All right.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Faulkner?
Yes.
So,
Is that a question?
no, I was just giving you the floor. So next, when we do get into that new room, I know a lot of people in the public don't get to see him, but we do have a person with the village that does a fantastic job, and that's Ben. He's always behind the camera, but we do intend on bringing him in front of the camera, because in the new room, he'll be able to have the angles all set up where he can come and maybe say a few words, but we'll extend our thanks to Ben, who you hardly ever get to see. So he'll be able to have his name up there, and everybody will see the person that actually makes all this magic happen.
He's like the guy from Home Improvement over
He
there.
is. He's just.
No offense. Yeah.
So no, but you know, that'll be exciting too. But we talked about during budget time. We do want to give some recognition there because no one ever sees him, but he really does an outstanding job for the village. So that's all I had.
I'll make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to adjourn the meeting. All in favor? Aye. Aye. This meeting's adjourned.